What's up, everybody? Want to talk a little bit about URG, which is UR Energy. They've got some catalysts coming up next week. They report third quarter earnings, which I expect them to beat and come in at a penny to 2 pennies. Uh, they've been building up inventory. They've got 8 contracts. They've averaged during the past quarter uh, sales of 59 cents, $59 a pound, which is well over the long-term spot price of $44 a pound. So this is good stuff. They've also been known to go on the spot market and pick up uh, some purchases to meet contract, which is good while they hold their uranium in inventory. So it's a win-win. I wish they promoted more. They don't toot their own horn, but they're definitely a company that is growing and is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the next few years in the uranium space. Now, I wanted to look at a couple things. This is first off, I want to talk about their receiving public comments right now that will end next week for their petition to double the size of Lost Creek location, which would be great because Lost Creek has been a very good source of uranium. It exceeded their expectations not once but twice. Their UR Energy is one of the lowest. They have one of the lowest costs of getting uranium out of the ground in the entire industry. And these are all good things. And like I said, they're gonna. I know it ends sometimes next week on receiving public comments, but I expect a highly probability of the state of Wyoming approving that, which would be a really good, thing for the stock. I'm not a short-term holder. I believe in this company, and I really think that if you hold URG, you will be greatly rewarded for the next couple of years. I think the story of uranium is really taking hold. I think it's about to divert from the oil, which it shouldn't trade in unison with, but it does most of the time, but it does occasionally break like it did in '04 and '07. I think URG will exceed $3 a share before the end of 2016. And then if I were to tell you in 5 years it's over $20, I think that's a very conservative estimate. So you do your own due diligence. But now let's look at the chart. I use stockcharts.com. I go to gallery, type it in. All right, this is the daily. What I see here is a triple bottom, 1, 2, 3. You had great volume today. The volume recently has really sucked real bad. Unfortunately, they don't, like I said, they don't toot their own horn. They really don't do a lot of PR. They just let people report on them, and the facts speak for itself. Now let's go ahead and plug in. Whoops, went too far. Plug in what I like to use on the daily. Where's it at? Come on, baby. All right. 3 indicators I like to use. The number one, most important one, is the commodity channel index. And then on the daily, I like to use price, no sure thing. And then RSI. And I'll show you what I see. Okay. Like I stated before, I believe we have a triple bottom right here, here. Lot of downward sell-off right here. but a true triple bottom right here. The no sure thing, see how it dragged down here, but now it's pushing up here, and it's going to push that share price up with it, just like it pulled it down right here. You see on the RSI, it hasn't broken out for a long time. Again, this is daily, so we're only going back to June 8th of this year. Now let's switch it up. I want to go MACD, update, go to weekly. All right. It's been a while since we were here. Got the triple bottom here. You got the you got the MACD about to break up. And again, RSI hasn't been up here in a long time. This is overbought territory, and it hasn't seen that since, looks like April of 2014. And if you recall, it jumped up from, I think, it started back here like 70 cents, and it popped all the way to $1.99. I was watching it then. I think this is a good trade, guys, but I think better than that, it's a good hold if you have patience for the uranium space. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of news going on, a lot of things happening. The United States is opening their first nuclear reactor in over 20 years. That's 2 decades in Tennessee, I believe, next month. That's going to bring press, both positive and negative. There's people that don't understand about radiation and, nuclear waste and everything, and they think because of what happened in Japan that, oh man, but not one person has died from that incident. And if you do a little bit more research, you see that, of course, Iran is in the news big time because of their deal with the U.S., but what they're really doing is they're buying from Kazakhstan, and they are going full-fledged with the uranium space for nuclear reactors, because why? It's the best clean energy in the world. It's the cheapest. It's the best thing, and there's a lot of countries in the world that don't have electricity. And so what's happening is you see all these plans for new nuclear reactors. You've got a bunch that are being built right now that are going to be coming online from now through 2022. China is going to lead the way on that. You've got France. They definitely have proven they know how to do nuclear energy because they've been selling so much to everybody else, their neighbors, especially Germany. Germany had come out that they were going to shut down nuclear reactors by, I believe, 2018. But I don't see that happening because the cost is too much to shut them down, and they're also getting hit hard by trying to go with solar and wind and probably ocean turbines, which they're all great and dandy, but the problem is right now those alternative energies are they're pushed because of the kickbacks you get. That's the incentive to buy it, but it takes up a lot of space. It only produces at certain times of the day, and there's a lot of waste that goes with that because those things have to be replaced in about 25 years, 50, up to 50 years in some models. But the technology is growing. It's growing faster than what is being produced, and that's the problem, I think, with investing in like a solar. Is the technology is just, it's like buying a TV. Shit, I remember when I bought a LED TV for $3,200 on post, and shit, 3 years later I can get the same TV for just under $1,000. You know what I mean? Now TVs are curved and everything. Well, it's the same with solar. And then of course with the wind turbines, you got birds and you got all kinds of shit messing them up, and nuclear energy is here to stay. Everybody's starting to get on board with it. It's in the news all over the place. It's so easy to read up on it. And UR Energy is one of the cheapest producers in the world today. They're a junior company that I fully expect to be like I said, a major player. Uh, in about 2 years' time, you're really going to see them making a dent, uh, you know, making their presence felt. Uh, and they're a Canadian company, but they're located in the U.S. Their headquarters out of Colorado. They've got quite a few properties. The Lost Creek being the most famous because that's the first one that they put into operation. But they've got property up in Canada, and in other places in the United States. So I would say you definitely want to buy URG, put it in a drawer, look at it from time to time. It's a low volume stock, but when it makes its move, it's going to make its move. And something tells me, because today's 23 October, that next week's going to be quite a move for the stock. I believe we're going to see quite a bounce, and maybe a bust through the resistance at 80 cents, and that would be between 80 and 88 cents. And if it busts through that, it's definitely you don't want to sell. So you have to make that decision, but I think it's a great company. I like what they're doing. They don't dilute, uh, paying off their debt. They've got 20, I want to say 23. I can check. Let's see here. They have, where is it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Let me see here. Sorry for the dead time. Dead space. But I'm looking. Their debt. Let's see here. It'll be just a second. I'll pull it up. They got 3 point something in cash. They have a hell of a lot more in assets. Like I said, they've been building up inventory. Unlike URRE, UUUUEC, who's just sitting idle. They're not doing anything. They're not getting any uranium out of the ground, and their stocks aren't doing that bad. They're kind of turning with CCG, Cameco, which has been turning for about a month now. So that's all positive for the uranium space. Let me see here. Whoops. I typed it in wrong. Just a second. Whoops. I read a thing. I wanted to talk about something else while I'm looking for this. I read a thing about South Korea. Boy, they're like, everybody thinks Japan's the leaders, in nuclear reactors and everything. But I tell you what, those Koreans sure have like the most state of the art technology, and hell, their reactors they've got, because they've got quite a few for such a small country. Their reactors that are located in South Korea are so foul-proof that they could withstand a warhead impact from North Korea. That's crazy to me, but that's what it is. Okay, let me see here. Let's go to key statistics, and I'll tell you, I don't really like to use Yahoo. I like to use Fidelity, but I don't want to sit here and, fart around. I'll just get to the point. Let's look at the story here. Market cap, 74 million. Enterprise value, 112 million. Enterprise value, EBITDA per share, $12.70. Big ceiling there, guys. Price of sales only 1.85. Price to book only 230. Let's see. Revenue almost just south of 40 million. They just started ramping up the last 2 quarters, so that's not a true accurate picture because that's not a full year of revenue. But you see the quarterly revenue growth year over year is 97%, and that number is going to continue to stay high quarter after quarter for the next few quarters. They got total cash of 3.85 million. It's almost 4 million total debt. 36 million. And what I was saying is I like that they're not diluting the shareholders by raising funds or seeking loans to add to their debt to pay off their short-term debt. They have been nudging their debt down quarter after quarter, and they recently reworked a deal with Wyoming It's not for a lot of money, but basically to split out a payment due in March over 3 payments through 2016 at no additional interest increase or any other fees. So it was a good thing, Wyoming. Like I said, they're trying to expand, double the size. Lost Creek get approval from the state of Wyoming, and I see Wyoming giving the blessing, signing off on that because I think Wyoming is very proud to have them in their state, and I think it's a very good relationship. And I think Wyoming's gonna really do well, and will benefit greatly from uranium, UR Energy's presence. So that's all I got. I could talk real quick about as you see, the last 4.5 years have been a drag on the whole sector, but I see them coming out of the doldrums. Uh, Specifically URG and CCJ, sorry. And I think it's a good time to get uranium. You see the high and low. We're touching off the low. And then also the percentage held by an institution, this has jumped from 13% to 26%, basically doubled in 4 months. That's a very good thing. You see the outstanding shares. You got 130 shares out there, but only 117 million on the float. Shares short is slightly gone up, is at 4.5 million. There's actually a 21-day that it would take for these shorts to get out of the stock. That's quite an overhang on the shorts where you could potentially trigger a squeeze. We'd all want that, you know. But just, I love the company. I really like what I've read. I suggest you do your research on them. Do your research on uranium. Do your research on nuclear. Look at the various companies. There's a lot of mines coming offline because it's just not profitable for them. I would say Australia, the third biggest producer in the world, is hurt the most because they've shut down quite a bit. And with demand growing, and by 2020, the global demand's already exceeding supply, but what's holding it back is the supply that's already been put out there by Kazakhstan. But by 2020, they won't be able to keep up, and there's going to be quite a shortage. So you're going to have companies and utilities and governments scrambling to secure uranium with all these projects in the pipeline, and a lot of people are going to be left out in the cold because they're not going to be able to get it. And they're definitely going to be paying a higher price for it. So I expect the U308 short-term, mid-term, and long-term spot price to definitely climb, and I expect it to be pretty gradual but pretty significant. Where you see a nice, swing to the upside on the graph chart. So thank you for watching. If you got any comments, leave them. I post on Twitter under the Sofa Surfer 2, the number 2, and I jump on Yahoo's finance message board for URG sometimes too, and I post these videos. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave your comments. I'll be sure to reply, and have a great weekend. Bye, guys.